Good morning. My topic is spin echo technique or spin echo sequence. Spin echo technique or spin echo sequence is a type of MRI sequence. Before starting spin echo technique, I would like to give brief introduction about MR pulse sequence. What is MR pulse sequence? MR pulse sequence is the interplay of various parameters leading to complete cascade of events with the application of RF pulses and gradients to form MR echo. This echo is received by RF coils and is used in the formation of MR image. The MR image form is used then for diagnostic purpose. MR pulse sequence is mainly divided into two types, that is spin echo pulse sequence and gradient echo pulse sequence. Now spin echo pulse sequence or spin echo technique. It consists of 90-degree excitation pulse, 180-degree rephasing pulse, resulting in the formation of echo. This echo is received by RF coils and is used in the formation of MR image. Then again we apply 90-degree excitation pulse. What happens when we apply 90-degree excitation pulse? When we apply 90-degree excitation pulse to the protons aligned along z-axis, these protons flip from longitudinal magnetization towards the transverse magnetization. And in XY plane, these protons precise with lower modulus frequency, resulting in the formation of small signal called FID, free induction decay. The signal FID is small, hence not used in the formation of MR image. Also, the intensity of FID decreases with time because these in-phase protons start dephasing with time and try to regain their original longitudinal magnetization. As a result of which, FID decreases with time. To bring back these dephased protons in phase, we apply 180-degree rephasing pulse. After applying 180-degree rephasing pulse, we get echo. This echo is then received by RF coils and is used to fill case space. And from that filled case space, we form MR image. The time between first 90-degree excitation pulse and second 90-degree excitation pulse is called time to repeat or repetition time. And the time between 90-degree excitation pulse and reception of echo is called time to echo or TE. We apply three gradients during pulse sequence, that is slice selection gradient, phase encoding gradient, frequency encoding gradient. These gradients are used for localization and acquisition of MR signal. Slice selection gradient is used at the time of 90-degree excitation pulse. Phase encoding gradient is used between 90-degree excitation pulse and reception of echo. Frequency encoding gradient, also called readout gradient, is used at the time of reception of echo or measurement of echo. MR image may be T1 weighted, T2 weighted or proton density image. The weightage of the MR image depends upon this TR and TE. If TR and TE both are long, then the image formed will be T2 weighted image. If both TR and TE is short, the image formed will be T1 weighted image. And if TR is long but TE is short, the image formed will be proton density image. This is all about conventional spin echo sequence. In case of conventional spin echo sequence, per TR we get one echo. Hence, in case of conventional spin echo sequence, per TR one line of case space is filled. Therefore, the MR scan time is long. To reduce scan time, we do some modification in conventional spin echo sequence. Generally, there are three modifications in conventional spin echo sequence. That is dual spin echo sequence, fast spin echo sequence, also called turbo spin echo sequence, and single shot fast spin echo sequence, also called haste imaging. We will discuss all the three modifications one by one. Now, dual spin echo sequence. In case of dual spin echo sequence, we apply two 180-degree rephasing pulse after applying 90-degree excitation pulse. Hence, we get two echoes per TR. First, we apply 90-degree excitation pulse, then 180-degree rephasing pulse, we get first echo. Then again 180-degree rephasing pulse, we get second echo. Hence, in case of dual spin echo sequence, per TR, two lines of case space is filled, which is then used to fill separate case space lines. In dual spin echo sequence, we get proton density plus T2 weighted image. How? When we apply first echo, this is first echo, this is second echo. When we apply first echo, when we receive first echo, at that time TR is long but T is short. When TR is long and T is short, we get proton density image. Hence, at first echo, we get proton density image. While equation of second echo, TR is long, but T is also long. When both TR and T is long, we get proton density weighted image. Hence, at second echo, we get proton density T2 weighted image because both TR and T is long. Therefore, in case of dual spin echo sequence, we get proton density plus T2 weighted image. Now, fast spin echo sequence. Fast spin echo sequence is also called turbo spin echo sequence. And in fast spin echo sequence, we apply multiple number of 180-degree rephasing pulse after applying 90-degree excitation pulse. As a result of which we receive multiple number of echoes per TR in case of fast spin echo sequence. Therefore, multiple number of K-space lines are filled per TR. Hence, it significantly reduces scan time. And these multiple line of filled K-space are then used for MR image formation. What is K-space? K-space is the imaginary space where raw data is stored, and this is the center of K-space. The TE at which central of the K-space is filled is called effective TE. When the effective TE is long, the image formed will be T2 weighted image, and when the effective TE is short, the image formed will be T1 weighted image. The amplitude, the intensity of the signal is highest at effective TE. If T effective is long, the scan time will be short, and if T effective is short, the scan time will be long. Long effective TE increase image blur because more number of echoes are used in the formation of SAM-MR image. Therefore, the image blur decreases, hence image quality decreases with the application of large number of 180-degree rephasing pulse. The number of 180-degree rephasing pulse we apply after 90-degree excitation pulse is called echo trial length or time turbo factor. We generally use 4 to 32 180-degree rephasing pulse, but we may extend it up to 200. Hence, in case of fast spin echo sequence or a turbo spin echo sequence, the scan time is significantly reduced as comparison to conventional and dual spin echo sequence. Now, single shot fast spin echo sequence, or also called haste sequence. It is mainly used in breath holding techniques like MRCP or cardiac imaging because there is chance of more motion in these scanning. Therefore, we use this fast spin echo sequence, breath holding technique sequence, so as to reduce motion artifact. In case of single shot fast spin echo sequence or haste imaging, all number of echoes required to form an image or all number of all lines of K-space filled used to form an image are occurred in a single TR. Hence, we occur all number of echoes that is used in the formation of MR image in case of single shot fast spin sequence in 1 TR. Further, we reduce scan time by in single shot fast spin echo sequence by only filling half lines of K-space. In case of single shot fast spin echo sequence, we fill during scanning half number of K-space. The rest half is filled by mathematical calculation called FFT, fast Fourier transformation. It further reduce time significantly to half. For example, if we suppose to get an image of matrix Akhat-Atu into Akhat-Atu, if we suppose to get an image 128 into 128, we only fill 72 lines of K-space. The rest half of K-space is filled by FFT. Then next sequence is inversion recovery sequence. Inversion recovery sequence. What is inversion recovery sequence? In case of inversion recovery sequence, we selectively saturate one tissue in comparison to other. For example, in case of step, we selectively saturate fat. and in case of flare, we selectively saturate signal of water protons. It inverted recovery sequence consists of 180-degree inverting pulse, then 90-degree excitation pulse, 180-degree rephasing pulse, then we get echo. This echo is then used for MR image formation. The time between 180-degree inverting pulse and 90-degree excitation pulse is called time of inversion. Based on this time of inversion, different tissue has different time of inversion. We selectively saturate one tissue in comparison to other tissue. The time between 90-degree excitation pulse and reception of echo is called T, and the time between 180-degree inverting pulse and applying of second 180-degree inverting pulse is called time to repeat. What happens when we apply 180-degree inverting pulse? When we apply 180-degree inverting pulse to the protons aligned along positive z axis, these protons flip from positive z axis to negative z axis, result in the saturation of all tissues, whether they are fat tissue, fat protons, or fluid protons. After saturation, they try to regain their positive longitudinal magnetization along z axis. This regaining capacity or this regaining time, T1 relaxation time of different tissue is different. That is, fat has different relaxation T1 relaxation time as compared to water. Fat has short T1 recovery time as compared to water. Hence, fat try to regain their positive longitudinal magnetization early as compared to water. Only this transverse plane is the null plane. When we apply 90-degree excitation pulse, the proton which is at transverse plane gets saturated, and hence these protons will not participate in MR image formation. Only those protons will participate in MR image formation which recover some longitudinal magnetization at the time of 90-degree excitation pulse. Based on this inversion time, inversion recovery sequence is divided into two types: short time of inversion recovery, and long time of inversion recovery. Based on this inversion time, inversion recovery sequence is divided into sitter and flare imaging. Sitter stands for short tau inversion recovery sequence, and flare stands for fluid attenuated inversion recovery sequence. The time of inversion of sitter is 80 to 150 milliseconds, whereas the time of flare is 1500 to 2500 milliseconds. Now sitter. In case of sitter, the signal from fat protons gets suppressed, or signal of fat is saturated. What happens when we apply sitter scanning? When we apply sitter scanning, in case of sitter scanning, we apply 180-degree inverting pulse. All protons, whether they are fat protons or fluid protons, get saturated towards negative z axis, and then they try to regain their positive z axis. As we know, fat try to recover this positive z axis earlier, positive longitudinal magnetization earlier as compared to water. And when fat proton is at the transverse plane, that is when fat proton is at null point, and this null point of fat is 100 to 175 milliseconds. We apply 90-degree, in case of sitter, we apply 90-degree at that time when fat protons is at null point. Hence, the fat signal get suppressed and they will not participate in MR image. Similarly, in case of flare imaging, fluid attenuated inversion recovery sequence, we apply same 180-degree inverting pulse. Protons of both fat as well as fluid get saturated. Then they try to recover positive longitudinal magnetization. We apply 90-degree excitation pulse at that time when water protons is at null point, when water protons is at transverse plane. The null point of water is 1700 to 2200 milliseconds. And when we apply 90-degree excitation pulse at that time when protons is at null point, therefore they will not participate in MR image formation. Signal of water proton get saturated. In case of sitter imaging, Star imaging, we as fat is saturated, we use is mainly in that in body imaging. If we suppose to evaluate a lesion that is adjacent to the fat, we apply star imaging. In that case, signal from fat gets saturated, and we can easily delineate pathology or lesion which is adjacent to the fat, that is easily delineated. Similarly, FLAIR imaging is used in mainly in neuroimaging. FLAIR sequence is mainly used in neuroimaging, that is brain or spinal cords. If in FLAIR sequence, as water protons or CSF protons get saturated, and if we suppose to see pathology or lesion which is adjacent to the fluid or water molecule, we saturate fat fluid or water molecule, and we can easily then delineate pathology or lesion which is adjacent to the fluid or CSF, because the signal from fluid or CSF gets saturated, and hence we can easily delineate pathology. This time of inversion depends upon T1 recovery of the tissue. It depends upon T1 recovery. This is T1 recovery. This time of inversion depends T1 recovery of the tissue. Time of inversion is equal to 0.69 into T1 recovery of that tissue. Hence this inversion recovery sequence is particularly used to saturate one tissue in comparison to other. Now, the disadvantage of spin echo sequence. In case of spin echo sequence, the scan time is still long. Also, we do some modification, but still there is long scan time. This is the disadvantage of spin echo sequence. Also, in spin echo sequence, we get some motion flow related artifacts. It will not compensate flow related artifacts. This is also the disadvantage of spin echo sequence. Advantage of spin echo sequence. In case of spin echo sequence, image quality is good as compared to gradient spin echo sequence. Also, in case of fast spin echo sequence, if there is a chance of metal artifact, we use their fast spin echo sequence in comparison to gradient spin echo sequence, because in case of fast spin echo sequence, multiple magnetic field inhomogeneity is recovered by compensated by 180-degree phasing pulse, while in case of gradient sequence, these magnetic field inhomogeneity is not compensated, as we rephase in gradient sequence by gradient coils. Therefore, magnetic field inhomogeneity is not compensated. Thank you.